A multitude of significant events have unfolded across the globe, demanding our attention. Let's delve into these developments together. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Your support is crucial for our growth and reach. Also, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Does simply being born within American borders automatically confer American identity? That fundamental assumption might not remain valid for much longer. The newest initiative from former President Trump is not merely disputed. It carries historical weight. He is targeting the very essence of citizenship, with the goal of denying it to children born on United States soil if their parents lack citizenship status. No legislation has been enacted, no popular vote conducted, just the potential stroke of an executive order. This is not some peripheral notion. It represents a direct confrontation with the 14th Amendment. Should this challenge prevail, it could signify the beginning of the end for birthright citizenship as it has been understood. So, prepare yourselves, because this impending struggle transcends legal arguments. It touches upon personal identity and national belonging. Make sure to watch this video until the very end, as we'll be summarizing the key takeaways and offering our concluding thoughts. Trump's new citizenship agenda represents a bold departure from established tradition, doesn't it? Donald Trump has consistently positioned himself as a political disruptor, an individual who thrives on challenging the established norms. Now, in a maneuver that has taken both supporters and detractors by surprise, he is directing his focus toward one of the foundational elements of contemporary global identity: dual citizenship. During his initial term in office, Trump was unyielding in his push for more restrictive immigration regulations. He advocated for controversial travel bans, floated the idea of rescinding birthright citizenship, and promoted policies designed to reinforce an America First ideology. But currently, he is escalating his stance even further. Trump's fresh proposal seeks to completely dismantle the concept of dual citizenship. His argument posits that no person can adequately represent the interests of the United States while simultaneously owing allegiance to another country. In his own words, this policy alteration is vital for safeguarding American sovereignty and warding off foreign influence. The very notion of possessing two passports, according to Trump's perspective, fosters divided loyalties, a security vulnerability in an age where global allegiances are increasingly scrutinized. This isn't merely a fleeting campaign slogan. It's a meticulously planned extension of his nationalist viewpoint. For years, Trump has approached immigration and citizenship through the prisms of loyalty, purity, and control. Now, by aiming at dual citizens, many of whom possess profound connections to both the U.S. and another nation, he is endeavoring to reshape the definition of what it signifies to be an American. And the potential repercussions? They are nothing less than earth-shattering. If this policy were implemented, millions of Americans could find themselves compelled to make an agonizing choice: either relinquish the citizenship of their ancestral homeland or surrender their American status. From second-generation immigrants to families spanning multiple nations, the emotional, legal, and diplomatic consequences would be without precedent. Legal experts have already started to contest the viability of Trump's plan. Dual citizenship has traditionally been permitted, if not explicitly endorsed, by United States law. Indeed, numerous dual citizens have honorably served in the armed forces, contributed significantly to the economy, and occupied positions requiring public trust. Can their allegiance truly be questioned solely based on possessing a second passport? Critics caution that this initiative could dramatically backfire, alienating not only citizens within the country, but also international allies. The United States, fundamentally, is a nation built by immigrants, established on the very idea of diverse identities converging under a single flag. Forcing individuals to shed a part of their identity would amount to tearing apart that very legacy. And yet, Trump's core supporters might perceive this as another courageous stand, an essential step in the endeavor to take back America. For them, the issue centers not on division, but on devotion. Whether this proposal ultimately gains legal footing or remains a provocative campaign promise, one fact is undeniable: Trump is once again pushing the limits of what belonging means. And in doing so, he's sparking a vehement debate at the very core of American identity. Is this the conclusion for dual citizenship, or simply another act in Trump's repertoire of political performance? Let's investigate further. The proposed crackdown on dual citizenship by Trump isn't merely politically volatile. It could ignite a legal inferno of historic magnitude. As the former president intensifies his rhetoric concerning loyalty and national identity, a paramount question arises. Can he even legally implement this? The concise answer is, not without a significant struggle, perhaps a monumental one. At the core of this matter lies the United States Constitution, which regards citizenship as a fundamental right. This isn't something a president can simply nullify through an executive decree. The Supreme Court has consistently affirmed that citizenship cannot be arbitrarily revoked or rescinded based on political ideology. In reality, the government's existing power to strip someone of their citizenship is exceedingly constrained and applicable only in specific, narrowly defined circumstances. For instance, U.S. citizenship can be nullified if it was acquired fraudulently during the naturalization process, or if a citizen voluntarily renounces their nationality, typically by signing official documents before a U.S. consular official overseas. But here is the crucial point. Holding citizenship in another nation has never been deemed sufficient grounds for revoking U.S. citizenship. Period. So what steps would actually be necessary for Trump's plan to become law? It would demand substantially more than presidential authority. To fundamentally reshape the legal terrain surrounding dual citizenship, Trump would need to venture far beyond executive measures. He would require the backing of Congress, and potentially an amendment to the Constitution itself. A major revision of U.S. citizenship laws necessitates an act of Congress, which entails not just a simple majority vote, but almost certainly a filibuster-proof supermajority in the contemporary highly divided Senate. That represents an extraordinarily challenging hurdle. And if the proposed change conflicts with existing constitutional safeguards, then Trump and his proponents would face an even steeper climb, pursuing a constitutional amendment. That process involves securing approval from 2/3 of both the House and Senate, followed by ratification from 3/4 of the U.S. states. In today's intensely polarized political environment, achieving such consensus is nearly a political impossibility. Legal scholars concur. This isn't just improbable, it's akin to scaling a legal Everest. But let's consider hypothetically that a Trump administration, if re-elected, managed to devise a method to implement even a modified version of this proposal. What would happen then? Lawsuits, endless streams of lawsuits. Civil rights organizations, immigration attorneys, and thousands of directly impacted individuals would immediately inundate the courts with legal challenges. Foreign governments could also intervene, arguing that the measure contravenes international treaties or precipitates diplomatic crises for dual nationals. The ensuing legal conflict could extend for years, ultimately reaching the Supreme Court. And historical precedent exists. In past decisions, the court has consistently protected the rights of both natural-born and naturalized U.S. citizens, establishing that any attempt to withdraw citizenship must withstand the most rigorous legal examination. Therefore, is Trump's plan feasible? Technically, with sufficient political momentum and legal maneuvering, some iteration might advance. But realistically, it would likely trigger one of the most intricate, protracted, and contentious legal battles in modern American history. For the moment, this proposal might function more as a political declaration than a viable policy. Yet, if history offers any lesson, it's this. Trump flourishes amidst chaos, and this particular battle could be precisely what he desires. Who finds themselves caught in the crossfire? Let's examine the human cost of potentially ending dual citizenship. If Donald Trump's proposition to terminate dual citizenship were enacted into law, it wouldn't simply be a subject of political debate. It would transform into a life-altering predicament for millions. Consider the children born into multicultural families, or Americans residing and employed overseas. The ripple effects would penetrate deeply across various demographics, industries, and even international borders. Let's break down precisely who stands to be affected and the potential consequences they might encounter. Number 1. Children of immigrants compelled to choose between their heritage and their homeland. Throughout the United States, Innumerable children are born to immigrant parents, automatically receiving American citizenship by birthright, while simultaneously inheriting their parents' nationality. In Trump's envisioned scenario, this dual identity transforms into a disadvantage. Should his plan progress, these children could be forced into an impossible decision: maintain ties to their roots or secure their future within the U.S. Imagine requesting a teenager to sever connections with their grandparents' homeland, merely to retain their place in the sole country they have ever known. Number 2. U.S. expatriates and global professionals penalized for embracing global opportunities. In our interconnected modern world, millions of Americans live, work, and raise families abroad. Many obtain secondary citizenships to navigate foreign legal systems, secure work permits, or simply feel more integrated into their host nations. For these global citizens, Trump's policy would equate practicality with punishment. They might be compelled to relinquish one citizenship simply to adhere to the new rules, potentially disrupting careers, families, and lives established across international boundaries. Number 3. Military personnel and diplomats serving two flags, now potentially under scrutiny. Ironically, even some of America's most dedicated public servants could become targets. U.S. military members and diplomats born overseas, often to American parents, might possess dual citizenship through no deliberate action of their own. They have risked their lives for the United States, represented its values internationally, and yet, under this proposed policy, their loyalty could be questioned and their legal status jeopardized. Number 4. Naturalized citizens stripped of cultural ties. For numerous immigrants who have proudly achieved American citizenship, dual nationality isn't indicative of divided allegiance. It serves as a vital link between two lives. Trump's policy would effectively sever that connection. These individuals would be forced to renounce the country of their birth, often cutting ties with family, heritage, and personal history. The consequences extend beyond individual hardship, encompassing legal chaos, economic repercussions, and potential global isolation. The logistical challenge alone would be immense. Mandating millions of people to renounce citizenship would lead to bureaucratic gridlock, a deluge of lawsuits, and international disputes. The emotional and psychological burden would be even more severe. Families could be fractured. Individuals who have known no other home could be informed they no longer belong. Furthermore, the economic impact could be equally harsh. Foreign-born entrepreneurs, tech professionals, and investors, many holding dual citizenship, might reconsider conducting business in a nation perceiving them as a threat. Innovation could stagnate. Talent pipelines might diminish, and the very concept of the American dream could lose its international allure. In the drive to project toughness on security, Trump's plan risks alienating the very individuals who contribute to America's strength, both economically and culturally. Because this isn't merely a policy adjustment, it's a potential identity crisis for millions. The backlash and blowback are already palpable. Is Trump's citizenship crackdown even popular? While Trump's proposal to end dual citizenship has certainly energized his most fervent supporters, it has concurrently provoked a significant wave of intense criticism from diverse points on the political spectrum. Legal scholars, civil rights organizations, members of Congress, and immigrant advocacy groups are voicing strong opposition. Opposition is mounting rapidly and vociferously. At the heart of this criticism lies a deepening apprehension that this policy is not just legally dubious, but also ethically problematic. Critics maintain that dual citizens are not threats. They are contributors. They enrich American society through entrepreneurship, global connections, cultural diversity, and even national service. Many dual citizens have donned the uniform of the U.S. military, served in governmental capacities, and facilitated understanding between nations. To abruptly categorize them as potentially disloyal is perceived by many as not merely unjust, but offensive. And the legal obstacles are considerable. The U.S. Constitution does not explicitly prohibit dual citizenship, and judicial precedent has consistently affirmed the rights of individuals to maintain dual nationality. A sweeping policy forcing citizens to choose between their American identity and their heritage could trigger years, if not decades, of legal confrontations. Some legal scholars are already deeming the proposal unenforceable, predicting it would collapse under constitutional scrutiny. Beyond the legalities, however, lies a political minefield. Trump's proposal could estrange a substantial segment of the electorate, especially within immigrant communities and among first- or second-generation Americans who retain strong ties to their ancestral homelands. In states like California, Texas, Florida, and New York, which host large populations of dual citizens, this move could prove electorally disastrous. These voters represent a powerful force in American elections, and depicting them as security risks might drive them further from Trump's vision of America. And let's not overlook the optics. The United States has long celebrated itself as a nation forged by immigrants, a melting pot of identities, cultures, and perspectives. By targeting dual citizenship, Trump risks repudiating that very narrative. His opponents are swiftly capitalizing on this, portraying the proposal as an assault on diversity, inclusion, and global citizenship. Even within the Republican Party, the reaction has been divided. Some view the move as too extreme, warning it could damage the party's wider appeal. Others worry it will overshadow more pressing concerns and divert attention from potentially winning campaign issues. Still, Trump's political strategy might rely on the notion that controversy fosters loyalty. His base often responds positively to bold, uncompromising positions, and framing this issue as one of patriotism and national security could solidify his image as a leader unafraid to take drastic actions to defend the nation. But make no mistake, this proposal is far from universally embraced. In attempting to define what it means to be truly American, Trump may be drawing a line that many are unwilling to cross. So the question persists. Is this a masterstroke of nationalist policymaking, or a political misfire with enduring consequences? The proposal is generating global ripples. How is the world reacting to Trump's plan? Trump's audacious stance on ending dual citizenship isn't solely causing upheaval domestically. It's starting to create shockwaves internationally. If implemented, this policy could rupture long-established international agreements and strain America's relationships with its closest allies. Numerous countries currently have reciprocal understandings with the U.S. that permit dual citizenship, particularly facilitating trade, diplomacy, and immigration cooperation. Countries such as Canada, the United Kingdom, and Germany, where dual citizenship is widely accepted, now confront a diplomatic quandary. If the U.S. opts to withdraw recognition of dual nationals, would these allies feel compelled to reciprocate? Would they mandate Americans within their jurisdictions to face the same loyalty ultimatum? The repercussions could extend beyond symbolism. Some foreign governments might react with countermeasures, tightening visa requirements for American expatriates or curtailing investment and residency privileges. This kind of retaliatory diplomacy could harm economic partnerships, complicate cross-border commerce, and destabilize the lives of millions of binational families. Moreover, the move could be interpreted as a regression in a world where global identity is increasingly the standard. At a juncture when many nations strive to enhance international collaboration, the U.S. threatening to dismantle dual citizenship rights might lead to its isolation on the global stage. In essence, the world is observing. And for America's allies and citizens residing abroad, the consequences might transcend mere administrative changes. They could fundamentally alter entire international relationships. What lies ahead for dual citizens? How can individuals prepare for this climate of uncertainty? For those currently holding dual citizenship, the ambiguity generated by Trump's proposal might understandably feel disconcerting. While the initiative remains just that, a proposal, not yet enacted law, the potential ramifications are substantial. Legal experts strongly advise staying informed and ensuring all personal documentation is current and organized. Vigilantly monitoring policy developments and seeking advice from immigration lawyers could provide crucial foresight regarding any changes. Beyond the legal intricacies, however, this debate delves deeper. At its nucleus, it poses a critical query. What does it truly mean to be an American? Should the United States compel its citizens to select a single nationality over another? Or should it acknowledge the reality of a world where individuals possess multiple connections, both personal and professional, to various nations? As Trump's proposal continues to animate discussion, it's evident that this issue will persist. The dialogue surrounding citizenship, loyalty, and national identity is only growing more intense, leaving millions of dual citizens contemplating their future. Will this proposed change ultimately reshape American identity, or is it merely another transient political maneuver? Let us know your perspective in the comments below. If you found this analysis insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this and other significant topics. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.